What's going on, fight fans? It's your host Sebastian, and welcome back to the Boxing Tip. Now, I don't want to spend too much time talking about this fight. It's not necessarily the most significant fight, but nevertheless, I am going to be watching it, so I figured I would share my thoughts about the fight, before it goes down later on tonight. So the matchup is between Erislandy Lara, current WBA junior middleweight champion of the world, and Yuri Foreman. Now, a lot of you guys, who probably have seen Yuri Foreman before, back in 2010, he did take on Miguel Cotto. Pretty good fight, actually. Yuri Foreman had a problem with his knee, so pretty handicapped, but he showed some heart, continued to fight, eventually just couldn't take it anymore. But since then, he's been a little bit busy, has a few more wins under his belt since the Miguel Cotto loss. Assuming I haven't really been paying attention to Yuri Foreman, so I'm assuming he worked his way up to being, for a title shot, or maybe this is just a stay busy fight for Erislandy Lara. He only fought once in 2016, and that was back in May, so it's been a little bit of time since he's had a fight. So it's good that he's, getting in there, trying to stay busy. Hopefully he has more fights this year, and hopefully he goes on to challenge, top 154-pound fighters. But to kind of get into the, getting into what may go down in the ring, I'll just talk about a couple of things. Both fighters, possess their abilities. As we all know, Erislandy Lara, very lengthy fighter, very skilled fighter, he gets a lot of shit for his, his movement in the ring, like with the Canelo fight where he was basically doing laps around the ring. I didn't enjoy that. I don't like that he has done that before, but when he does get in the mix, man, he could be pretty effective. Not the most exciting fighter. That's another thing, that a lot of people criticize him for. I enjoy watching him fight personally. Like I said, I think he is a very skilled boxer, and he has one of the best straight lefts out of the southpaw position that I've seen personally. It's a very powerful punch. As we all know, Erislandy Lara does have a little bit of crack, but he isn't necessarily known for his knockouts, more so his boxing ability. Contrary to his excessive, movement and, like the Canelo fight, he does actually use his feet pretty well, primarily for defense. He is a rangier fighter. He does try to keep his opponents at the end of his punches, and he does it very well. Ishe Smith, he used his feet a lot to, hit and get out of there, escaping using lateral movements. So it gave Ishe Smith quite the problem, frustrated the shit out of him, actually. And, when he does get in on the inside and fight, though, he can fight on the inside a little bit. He's not necessarily the best inside fighter. Alfredo Angulo forced him into a pretty rugged match with him. Actually knocked down Erislandy Lara, I believe, twice. So he is capable of being sucked into a dirty, not a dirty fight, but a rugged matchup, inside fight, a lot of, punching going on, basically a scrap. I feel like that's when he's at his most vulnerable. If Yuri Foreman wants to have any success, he's going to have to get past Erislandy Lara's long, pawing jab and his rangy straight left. And he's also going to have to try to cut the ring off as well if Erislandy Lara decides he wants to get, be on his toes and use his movement a lot. So if Yuri Foreman can, trap him, cut off the ring, then he'll be able to get some success. So, I think that's something Yuri Foreman should be looking to try to do in this fight. Yuri Foreman, he's a pretty tough guy from what I've seen. He takes punches fairly well. He was taking Miguel Cotto's punches fairly well. Obviously, you take enough of them, though, you're bound to go down at some point. And like I said, I haven't paid attention to Yuri Foreman a lot, so I'm not exactly fluent with the way that he fights, but he does show that, he's got some heart. He isn't afraid to get into a scrap. He throws some pretty good combinations as well. Fairly balanced. Hopefully, I don't know if his leg has had, if he's got work done on his leg or not, or if his leg is still an issue. But if he's able to, if his leg's not an issue, he needs to be able to stay balanced, in the midst of trying to, exchange with Erislandy Lara, you know, if he is able to get on the inside of Erislandy Lara's range and be able to mix it up. But he's gonna have to stay balanced and stay ready for any escape route Erislandy Lara has or is looking for if Erislandy Lara finds himself on the inside with Yuri Foreman. But kind of go ahead and just kind of give you the way I see this fight playing down. Those are a few things that I feel like each fighter needs to do. Erislandy Lara, I think his main priority is to try to keep Yuri Foreman on the outside of his at the end of his punches. Yuri Foreman, I think what he should try to do is try to get into the inside, or maybe close the distance enough to where he can start getting off some combination punching, or get at mid-range and try to force maybe Erislandy Lara, take a chance in an exchange with Erislandy Lara, and maybe try to clip him, at a mid-range. I think that's what both guys, need to do. But in my opinion, I feel like Erislandy Lara's movement is gonna make it very easy to keep Yuri Foreman on the outside or on the end of his punches. Nevertheless, I am thinking that Erislandy Lara can get Yuri Foreman out, and it's perfect because Erislandy Lara is a southpaw. Yuri Foreman is an orthodox fighter. Erislandy Lara has a fucking beautiful straight left, and it does have some pop. So I think Erislandy Lara is going to be looking to land that straight left, and it is very accurate. So if he lands enough of them, I'm pretty sure he can get Yuri Foreman out of there. So that's who I am picking to win this fight, Erislandy Lara. Maybe by a later stoppage. If not, he will more than likely win by decision. I don't see Yuri Foreman outboxing Erislandy Lara. Like I said, hopefully he can, get inside of Erislandy Lara's range and mix it up with them, try to make something happen at a closer distance. But if not, then this fight's pretty much a done deal. But share your guys' thoughts with me. Are you guys excited to see this fight? I sure am. I love every day that there is a card. I love watching boxing. I could care less if this fight is meaningless. I can care less if you don't like the matchup. I personally like it. I'm personally excited about it. Also, look out for my Anthony Durrell versus Norbert Nemisabit, or I can't remember how to pronounce his name. Not very familiar with that fighter, but I am, watching some of his fights, in the middle of making this video. So I will have that quick breakdown for you, quick pick for you. But other than that, let me know what you guys think. Who do you think is going to win? And what would you like to see next for Erislandy Lara, assuming that he gets past Yuri Foreman tonight? We very may well get an upset. Who knows? Anything can happen inside of the ring, guys. I know on paper this may seem like a complete mismatch, but once you get inside of that ring, you never know. But that's all I got for you guys on this video. Share the video with your boxing homies. Subscribe to the channel. I will talk to you guys on the next one. Peace.